If you're getting this video or audio today, it means it's Tuesday. It means it's a good day because it's Fireball the Gazebo day. Vince, how you doing?
I am absolutely fantastic, John. I am vibrating on a higher plane of existence today because I am so excited about the first in our, semi-regular, probably a series will repeat where one of us tells the other deeply about a game and hence the audience
Yeah.
about a game that they've never played and tries to sell them on that game.
Okay.
Today, we're going to do riffs.
We are doing riffs. I don't think I've braced myself properly for this episode. I've kind of
You
just,
have
I'm going
not.
to let it happen organically. So, audience, just know that whatever you are going to be saying in your brain, I will probably regurgitating out loud to Vince. I have no idea what to expect here. All I know about riffs is that riffs is like the universe that holds all the other universes. It is bigger and more eye-crossingly huge than anything you can possibly imagine. Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
In a
I,
nutshell.
Sure. Yes, as we'll see. There was I don't remember what the movie was, but the tagline of the movie was "You are not prepared." Okay, and like that's it. That's the tagline for riffs.
Okay.
You are not prepared. But hey, it's fine. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. We got some normal stuff first, of course.
Good. 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 All right. What do you wanna share with us today about stories? Do you have any story time?
I do. So I actually played two games since since we last recorded, since we last talked, because I had my monthly marathon game as well, and that was great. That's a fifth edition game where we're playing in a magical school. Had a great time where we were investigating kids. There was a really fun interaction where we met with like some dean who's trying to get to the bottom of the mystery, but he's like, the dean was like, as an important person, I can't be going off book and investigating things and getting in trouble. And, we should be very careful. Or, like, I have to be very careful. And that's all he said. And we walked out of the office and I was like, well, I got the message loud and clear. We're supposed to go investigate and get into shenanigans. Let's go. So we did,
Right.
you know.
Right. And
So it's
he can't be held accountable for any actions you take because he didn't tell you to do them. Yeah.
correct.
I
That's
love
right.
it.
It's a really great game. We're playing it in Eberron, and we're at Morgrave University, which is just it's like a magical school there in the city of Sharn. So it's a really really fun game. That we're all like first level, and it doesn't really matter because we don't actually get in fights. It's much more just like interacting with students. We actually have to take classes and stuff like that. So we roll for how we do in our classes every week. It's things like that. We have grades, jobs, extracurricular activities. It's the whole college experience.
Nice.
But what I wanted to share with everybody really was this little note that I've got in our document that just says woke dragons. Okay.
Okay.
So let me explain. The party in my second edition game is currently they're going into a swamp because the gnolls that they had gotten themselves into trouble with, where they had like made friends with them and were going on a rampage. At one point, the bard had said like, oh, like basically the gnolls were like, we're going to branch out, we're going to start robbing caravans and set up a sister series of taxation, and like that was their new plan, right? And he was like, don't do all that. If you attack people, great destruction will come to your tribe. And they're like, oh, okay. Because they think he's like a prophet of Yanugu, right?
Uh,
So he gave them something else to do. He like distracted them wisely and put them onto like a combat mission that wouldn't interfere with the surrounding countryside. And then the PCs had to leave for like a month plus. So they were gone for like 5 weeks. Okay. So they come back and all the gnolls are dead because the one thing that they never messed around with that they let just kind of fester was the lizardmen in the swamp who have been building up their power and then went on an attack and killed all of the gnolls except for like a few. There's like 5 left.
okay.
Right. And so blah blah blah. They go to fight. Now they have to go into the swamp to fight the lizardmen. In the adventure, in the lizardmen area, they've captured a black dragon. They're
My.
holding it prisoner. Okay. Like it's a young dragon, but they're very powerful. Like it's a big tribe of lizardmen and they're quite adept hunters. And so they've captured this like very young dragon or something like that. It's like age category 3 or whatever. Right. And then on the random encounters chart for the swamp, there's a green dragon. Okay. And I was like thinking about this and I was like, that has to be connected, right? Like
Yeah.
it has to be. So they happen to roll so I'm again talking about our discussion about combats. I had some random encounters in there because I like random encounters, especially when they're exploring around a swamp they don't know very well.
Huh?
And they got in a fight with like some shambling mounds. That was whatever. Then I rolled the dragon, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited. So they go to, they're like, well, we got to rest. So they got to find a place in the swamp to rest. I'm like, okay, well, you find this jutting piece of rock. It seems like there's a dry cave inside. As they go inside, I'm like, it's the air smells acidic, almost toxic. And the wizard's like, hold on a minute, guys. What?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
He's like, could this be a dragon? And I was like, well, it could be. It could be a lot of things. Like underground has polluted air a lot. So it's not that unusual. And then they go down a little bit farther, and that's the dragon's lair. And the dragon looks up at him and sees them all. And like the player talks to the dragon in Draconic.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Because the player knows Draconic. And so he says, hello, we don't want to fight. We're just here. We're trying to stop the lizardmen in the swamp. And so the dragon responds with like, I understand why you are here. Perhaps do all of your people speak this tongue? And he's like, no. And he's like, and so then the dragon switches over and he's like, all right, look, guys, here's the deal. Okay. Because in my mind, like Draconic is like British
Yeah.
and like common. He has a different accent depending on what he switches in. And I was like, so this is the thing going forward. Whenever they meet PCs and speak NPCs, like this just occurred to me. I don't know why I never did this before. It just kind of happened. There'll be a different accent and affect whenever they switch languages, so you know what language they're talking in, right?
Aha.
So like Draconic has that sort of like West London British accent, right?
Uh-huh.
And the dragon speaking common, he just speaks with like a New York accent, like, hey, I'm walking here, right? Like that's the way he talks. And he wasn't interested in killing them because he really hates the lizardmen too and all of this. And he thinks dragons have a bad name. He goes on this big long rant about, they're like, well, do you keep treasure? He's like, yeah, of course. Don't you? And they're like, well, yeah. And he's like, oh, sure. But your entire species doesn't get marred by being hoarders, huh? No, I'm sure what you don't have bags of holding full of gold. And they're like, well, yeah. And he's like, uh-huh. That's what I thought. Yet I'm the bad guy.
Right.
Okay. And so he's like on a rant about how people have besmirched his kind, right? And all of this. And he just wants to live in the swamp and he doesn't bother people and he eats swamp creatures. So what the heck is all this? And then he basically they make enough friends with him that he leads them directly to the lizardman camp and cuts out any other encounters. So they don't have to waste any resources getting there. Like he guides them there and he's like, I'm not getting in this fight. These guys are gonna kill me. I'm a big giant target and they already captured my mate. The black dragon that's there is his mate.
Ah.
Okay. His girlfriend, as he says. And so then they have to rescue her and they're getting into all this. And we kind of left off in the middle. They had knocked out one area, but now things are happening. So
Now
there you
is
go.
things hitting the fan. Well, that's a great way of tying in, what could be everything that feels siloed to connect it all together and even be able to like, oh, there might be a situation where you can then talk to her when there's the tension levels high and maybe she'll,
Oh,
be able
they
to aid
ran into
them.
her already. She was in the first place they went to. And she did the same thing when she initially spoke to them. She spoke to them in this very posh British accent, right? And then as soon as she was like, and as soon as somebody talked to her in common, she was like, all right, look, bye. Thanks for the help. Like, cause they had let her out, they had broke the cage and she just left. The dragon just bounced. Now, if the PCs get into like a lot of trouble, the dragons are like nearby and do
uh,
want these lizardmen dead. So like if the PCs get themselves into big trouble,
yeah, you can do a little
the dragons will
flyby
come back and
napalm.
fly by napalm, breath
Yeah,
weapon, they'll help out a little bit, right?
yeah.
And so there you go.
It creates a more dynamic, scene if there's something like that. I like that. I like that. Let's talk a little bit about some a little bit of news. We got some bits of news that I want to talk about, and some things that you put down here as well. First of all, the Fabula Ultima Kickstarter is opened this week, and like a schlub that I am, I backed it at the way too much money level, is what I called it. When you and I
Fantastic.
talked, and it's
Yep.
like the hardcovers. And I didn't realize for this Kickstarter, one of the big things they're adding in addition to a whole big monster manual is a separate hardcover book from the 3 different types of world settings that the game takes place in. And so
Cool.
you get to pick whether you want it to be like a high fantasy setting, a more of a mechanical fantasy setting, or a more nature nature in the balance fantasy setting. And so
Cool.
how they go about your storytelling, what are the kinds of tropes, what are the kinds of cities and the kinds of locations, the kinds of NPCs, the kinds of stories
Yeah.
that will be told, that they're different in each of these settings. And I was like, wow, because they talked about that in the book as I'm reading the core book currently. They have a whole section about each of the settings and they dig more into it in the book. But it's like, oh my gosh, they're actually going to give you full settings in this world based on what kind of traditional Japanese RPG kind of a game you want to play. Right. So if it's more of a Secret of Mana type, the more natural order side, or if it's the Final Fantasy 6 in the US, 4 in Japan, which is the more Magitech, right? They use that term Magitech in there, right?
I don't know anything about Final Fantasy, but yes, I assume everything I know about Final Fantasy comes from Magic cards. But sure, I
Right.
believe you.
Yes. Or the High Fantasy, which is kind of a little bit more traditional as well. Also, I just got a picture in my phone, texted from my friend the other day that he got all of his hardcover fancy as hell looking. Why am I blanking on the name of the book series? Stormlight Archive RPG.
Nice.
Stormlight Archive RPG books. He got it, and so he's like, yeah, you got to stop over anytime, and you can pick them up to borrow them because he doesn't play tabletop RPGs. He just wanted to get
He
them.
was just a big fan of the novels, basically.
Yeah, because he got them as part of a fancy set of the novels. I think it was like an
Gotcha.
add-on option. So I'm gonna have to steal those from him and take a look in that world. That seems like a
Well, very cool.
interesting world to play an RPG in.
Sure, for sure. It's a good books. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I got a few small little bits of news for everybody. I don't think I need to tell anyone, as I happened to see the live stream last night on YouTube. Was it like 115,000 concurrent live viewers? But Critical Role's season 4, or whatever episode, whatever it's called. I don't know. It's not season 4, but you know what I mean. Whatever their Adventure 4, whatever their episode 1 came out.
Okay.
Right.
With the new DM.
New DM, the whole thing. They're doing the West Marches style, so you got different players all operating in the same space, interacting with each other incidentally. Like what one group does will affect another group, and so on. Obviously, the West Marches style is like a very old style of gaming of how you used to run it, conventions and other similar things like that. Other sort of related adventure groups. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I did not watch it. I was not one of those 115,000 people, but that's for a future show where we talk about John and I's thoughts on
Live plays.
streaming live plays, yes, actual plays or whatever. The more exciting thing to me, Critical Role related, was that Mighty Nine got its official debut date. So this is November 19th. I really liked Vox Machina. Again, I don't the whatever I think of the actual plays. I thought the adaptation that was done for Amazon or whatever was really, really good, and it felt the most like D&D ever. Like it's the
Mm-hmm.
most D&D true thing. I could like, oh yeah, I know what spell you use there. I know what thing you did there. I know what's happening in the game, right? I know what those monsters are. I know what that world is. That feels very correct to me. Um, Unlike any of the movies where they always neuter everything.
Right. But they
But
don't
Jeremy
hit you
Irons
over.
forever.
They don't hit you over the head with it though in Vox Machina. They don't like.
No,
Oh, I
nope,
cast arcane missile.
no,
Okay.
no. It
Okay.
just
Good.
gets. It's just part. It's the texture of the world. It is as unusual to them as it is, to us using a pencil, right? Like
Got
that is
it.
part of our world. I don't say I write with pencil, right? No, like they
I
just
mean, I kind of feel like you should now. Now that I think
they
about
just
it.
do the thing because it's a thing in their world.
Okay.
But anyways, Mighty Nine was obviously their later campaign, and yeah, it's set in a part of the world I've actually played in before, like the Exandria world or whatever.
Okay.
Um, so I'm excited to see this. It's a much more eclectic group of weirdos, by the
Okay.
by. The first Vox Machina is very traditional-ish sort of party. You got a lot more like classic things, like D&D tropes. These are a lot more weirdos.
Okay.
So
All right.
there you go.
That seems promising. All right.
Yeah.
I put on my list of things to watch Vox Machina because I feel like I will actually really enjoy that. So I'm always looking for something to just when I have little bits of time by myself for something to watch, and I just feel like I never have a good list, and I don't jump into something. So I think I'm gonna start with this.
It's worth a watch. It starts out, it will not go where you think it's going to go right away, is what I'll say. Like, it very much subverts your expectations in the first 2 episodes because I think they really kind of did the first 2 episodes as a pilot to see if it was feasible. So
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, you'll see. At any
Okay.
rate, I'll just leave it there. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Okay.
But the voice talent in it's top notch, obviously, because not only are the main actors all voice actors, but they get a lot of other great people to come in there and
Cool.
do voices too.
Cool.
Uh, Last quick note, which will be a good transition into our main topic, is we got a new Unearthed Arcana. Again, I don't often talk about these. Occasionally, they rise to something I want to talk about. The only reason that I care here is because they're taking another crack at the Scion, the Mind Wizard.
Mind
Psi-
wizard.
yeah, psionics in D&D is just the biggest mess of just a tar pit that you will sink down in and never escape from. Basically, in all of the history of D&D, psionics has never been done right. It's never been executed well. It's always been a train wreck. It is a mess from top to bottom, and God bless them for keep trying. That's all I'll say.
I mean, people think people. Everyone says they want to do mind wizards, but when you actually play them at the table, you're like, okay, what was this?
Right. What are we doing here?
Right.
What is this? Right.
Yeah.
So it's good to have another crack. Now, the reason I say that's a transition element is
Okay.
because, John, do you know what game has warriors and cybernetics and magic and psionics as two separate things and a lot more? Like, I haven't even scratched the surface. Do you know what game has all of that in one game?
I'm guessing riffs. I'm guessing.
You are correct.
Okay, riffs. Phew. All right. All right. So let's start at the beginning. Can you give me the just for the audience, not for me, because obviously I know everything about this game. What if you gave me an elevator pitch on what is riffs? Let's start with that. What?
Oh, I'm so prepared for this.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Riffs is if a fever dream had a fever dream.
Okay.
Riffs is if H.R. Geiger and Gene Wolfe did peyote in the desert for 3 days, thought of a story, and then had an accountant create it. Okay. Riffs is every movie, anime, and television show and trope you've ever seen put into a blender, sprinkled with magical dust, and brought to life by the wish of an insane child. Okay. That
Okay.
is Riffs. Riffs is Riffs originally launched in 1990. Okay. It is effectively a how's the best way to say this? It is if second edition D&D got about 100 times or 2 orders of magnitude more complicated and detailed and varied in its applicability of rules. It answers the question, what if I wanted to play this and have extremely detailed rules to do it? And this can be literally anything.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Since its launch in 1990, it has about 99 different main books that have been released. That doesn't count all of the Rifters, which is like their magazine that has additional content in it, of which there are many. It has really never changed editions. It is basically still on the original edition. They launched a thing called the Ultimate Edition in 2005, but that is actually just a cleanup of the rules. It's as different from base riffs as like D&D 2024 is from D&D 5, if that makes sense, right? Like
Yeah,
you're still
got it.
playing the same thing and it's all backwards compatible. Okay.
There's slight tweaking and balancing, but more just like cleaning up the verbiage and the clarity of things.
Yeah. Well, yes, it is cleaning up some of the rules to make them decipherable if your mom took a lot of Tylenol when she was pregnant with you.
Okay.
Um it is the most sort of great. The summary would be it is the greatest bad game ever made. I love it like I love few other things. I brought up this image for everybody because this is a nice sort of image from across the world, and we'll get into it. Don't worry. But the books themselves break down into a couple different categories, John. You might think like you're coming from D&D, you're used to like or similar games, right? We have like a player's handbook and, a dungeon master guide or a monster manual or something like that. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Okay. There is a base book. Effectively, you would go buy Rift's Ultimate Edition, the base book right now if you wanted to play
Okay.
it.
All right. That's where you start.
That's where you start. Rifts uses what it calls you can pick a race or have, and sometimes those have racial character classes. You can pick an occupation or an OCC, an occupational character class. Those can sometimes stack on each other, sometimes they can't. Okay. Then you have your gear and equipment, your cybernetics, your magic, your other unique systems, okay, that are all stacked on top of this, your psionics and so on. And those books all have monsters in them. They break their books down into world books, which, as you can see here from a few of these titles that are up on the screen now, go and zoom in on certain parts of the world. So you might see like Russia, Canada, China, okay, stuff like that.
Huh?
The game itself is set in a post apocalypse. At some point in the 21st century, rifts open up. The entire world, like demons and aliens and insane things, spill forth from these giant ley lines and rifts that rip across the face of the earth. And the vast majority of humanity is wiped out. Okay.
Okay.
Those who survive over the next hundreds of years eventually claw their way back to civilization.
Okay.
And that is where the game takes place. Okay. The game is set in the post apocalypse. Society is starting to rekindle itself. You have nation states, powers, groups, peoples. Some parts of the world are settled. There's now like a lot of people back, but they're huddled together in small bands of civilization or surviving dangerously out in a monster, an alien, and what they call DB, which is just dimensional being, DB infested wilderness. All right.
Okay.
Your other books are dimension books. Those explore the other adjacent dimensions, Phase World, the Anvil galaxies. The book goes from everything from individual cities in the middle of New Mexico to books go to spanning entire literal clusters of galaxies that where empires reign out in the middle of space that you can only get to through rifts. There are everything from like little tiny monsters that could threaten you if you've got a knife to galaxy spanning empires that have the firepower to destroy entire civilizations, right? It is everything you could imagine. There is no thing this doesn't touch on, no trope it doesn't explore, no concept it doesn't utilize. All in gritty, unbelievably detailed, often indecipherable and contradictory rules. It is a massive castle built on the shakiest bit like foundation of balsa wood you've ever seen in your life, and yet it is so fun.
So in the same game world, the same setting. So there is only one Rift setting. It just you can zoom out, like if you scroll with your mouse, you can keep zooming out and zooming out and zooming out.
Yep,
And
that's right.
because it's both at the micro and at the macro, just massive, you can encompass every kind of fantasy and science fiction in a soup and scoop out whatever you happen to scoop out.
That is correct. I have done we have run an ongoing like MCU style game here with like multiple DMs over marathons for the past 12 years to 13 years, something like that in Rifts. Okay. All leading up to a massive story, like a Thanos style
Oh,
story.
okay. Yep.
And in that, we have done stories that are like small crime stories set in a single city. So that has been a marathon. We have done giant space stories where they are all like mega bigger heroes than you can imagine, and they're fighting against like godlike character and entire fleets and galaxy spanning empires, right? Like they're trying to like a forces that would destroy the galactic empire from Star Wars in like 5 seconds. Like they roll in and roll out like a thing. Like the Death Star is a cute little toy. That's hilarious. Look at your little ball. That's so adorable. You can blow planets up. You just blow them up. That's all you do. What a waste. We do so much more than that.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yes,
I don't even know where to begin my questions here.
I understand. Oh, there's so much. There's
Okay.
so much.
I didn't coming into this not knowing much about riffs, I didn't realize it was all a singular setting that just has a lot of depth as you zoom further and further out. I thought it was just like whichever rift you go into, you could get some weird thing, weird combination of like, well, it's also like the Bronze Age, but there's psychic dinosaurs that live there as well. But maybe what I'm just explained is actually a thing too.
Yeah, you're kind of right. First of all, if you see that in the second row from or like towards the bottom, you'll see a book called Dinosaur Swamp. If you like psychic dinosaurs, there you go.
They have it.
Uh oh, it's you cannot name something that doesn't exist in this game. I mean, like it's just that's what's insane about it. There's no idea crazy enough that it doesn't exist. Like that's and it's all detailed. Like that's very easy to do in a narrative game where you can
Yeah.
just kind of make whatever idea and slap some abstracted rules on it. Keep in mind, every one of these things has like an incredibly detailed set of rules for its exact functions. Let me guide you on a journey. I think the
Okay.
best way to do this is because it's overwhelming.
Yes.
This is drinking from the fire hose, right?
Yes.
So let me take you, if I might, on a guided journey through the world. Yes.
Oh
You are
boy.
correct. The ley lines and Earth in general is sort of the central protagonist of the story,
Mm.
the rifts and things like that. And that is because Earth is a very rifts rich world. It's a very magic rich world. Its ley lines are powerful, rifts are everywhere, and that makes it extremely important because it ends up being a sort of crossroads of different
Ah.
dimensions, different places in the galaxy. Rifts could connect to other times, other places, other
Gosh.
dimensions.
You just
Okay.
said now it's changes with time too? This is
Correct.
Jesus
There
Christ.
is the rifts can take you anywhere. What's on the other side of a rift could be any point in time, any place in space, or any adjacent dimension. Okay.
All right.
So infinity in all ways. Like if you look at Doctor Who and the box that and the the TARDIS and you're like that's too limited. Only time and space. What a waste. Okay. The rifts are here for you.
Okay.
So let's start. Let me zoom in here. Let's start in a place that we can all recognize where you and I live. Let's start in oh yes, I'm sorry. I've got not we don't live in Japan. I just wanted to show you Rift Japan here because I had this picture to talk about how crazy everything is. This is just the cover of Rift Japan. When I wanted to talk about zooming in on things. There you go. As you can see, you've got a cyborg dragon,
Of course.
right?
Right. Why wouldn't
That's a
you
person. That's a character you can play.
play a
And
cyborg
then you've
dragon?
got
Okay.
you can play a cyborg dragon. Sure, absolutely. Of course. Of course you can. That's yeah.
All right.
And you've got some form of ninja, I assume, like who's not technical at all. Like, yes, those are just two things. Rift Japan is a lot of fun. Uh
Okay, I have a quick question, and maybe this is something that's got to go on later. But before I forget it, how does all of this work together? How do you get a Conan style
mhm.
fighter
Yep.
and a cyborg dragon with laser beams for fingertips to play in the same game, and it feels at all the B word balanced? Like, how does any of that work together? How does any of this work together?
So what I brought up here is a book called this is a dimension book too. This is called Phase World. So this is a different dimension, right?
Uh-huh.
Specifically, it's a different location. Phase World is awesome. It has some of the most advanced technology in the universe, as well as magic and things like that. It has beings that are older than time. It's a lot of fun. Anyways,
Oh,
how do you make it all work, John? Now you've said the magic word. I was waiting for how long I was going to take you to say this word. Balance. The answer, John, is simple. Where we're going, we don't need balance.
okay,
Okay. There's
okay,
no such thing, my man. All
okay.
right. What this presents you is a bevy. It's the biggest buffet you've ever rolled up to in your life. Right? Your Bellagio buffet, child's play compared to this. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And instead, what it says to you is you choose where you'd like to be. There's lots of ways that you as the GM can choose to balance the game. Some people say only use stuff out of the core book. Most options in the core book are like relatively in the same power level.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Some people will say end up with your character having around like 600 mega damage and 7 attacks per round. Don't worry. We'll talk about all that in a moment.
that's not
But
that's
if you
not
get
English.
Yes, I understand. But if you get to like, in other words, you can kind of pick a mechanical bar and
Mm,
balance toward it. And there's lots of different ways you can get to that place. Right.
okay.
So no matter what you do, you can end up there to be like mechanically ending up in about the same overall bar of power level. There's some people who will say, we're going to play out of like this section of books. Like they go and they curate 4 or 5 books that all play well together. And they say, we're going to use the core book and these 4 or 5 books. All your ideas should be drawn from here. Those will all be relatively coherent. Okay.
Oh, okay. I like that. Okay, I like that. So
So
yeah,
you get to construct, like, as you said, it's Google Earth, right? Like you can just
right.
zoom in and out. So you get to, like, you choose where you zoom in for your game. Does that make sense?
So I'm thinking about this under my own confines of thinking about it in the same way you think about Dungeons and Dragons, that all the books all funnel you the same place, the same final end goal, the same final end power level. But that's not how any of this works.
No, 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 God, no. Yeah, absolutely not.
Oh,
No.
okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Now my mind is being expanded. All right. I'm ready.
Okay. So Phase World is just a fun bit of craziness. Here's a nice piece of art. Your dude in power armor. I just picked a couple of cool pieces of art that I thought were really fun. As you can see here, we do have a giant chainsaw vibro. This is like a giant vibro chainsaw. He's got an underslung arm launcher. This is power armor. Of course, there's like power armor and robots and exosuits. And how do they all work together? Hard to say.
To say,
Sometimes you can
really.
put on an exosuit and then get in a piece suit of power armor and then climb in a robot, and then those will all get blown up and you've got a hermit crab around into different vehicles. It could happen. Who knows?
Okay.
Um, it's
All
great.
right.
But you have full conversion cyborgs and power armored people and all sorts of fun stuff like that. Here's another fun one. This is a nice dimensional being. This guy's from Wormwood. As you can see, he's killed like a Zittisix thing. It's an insect alien race that's taken over most of Western Canada. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah. Right. I mean, it happens. It happens.
Yeah, you've got to watch out for that.
All right.
This is a leyline walker, the sort of core wizard of the world.
Mm.
They're the ones who manipulate the rift's energy, right? The rift
Oh.
energy. They're immune to the actual energy of the rifts. They tap it for power, and they can walk along and transport and use the rifts and know where the other side of a rift's going to go and avoid rifts, leyline storms, and all this kind of stuff. They're like the core wizard of the game, but there are 1,000 variations on
Oh.
of
Wow.
wizards in general.
Okay. I dig that you're the Rift Walker kind of being a cool
Yeah.
class to
For
play.
you, the rifts aren't a detriment. For most people, they're quite deadly and dangerous. Like rifts, you have to go around them because they will just rip through you, or storms will happen and blow your head up apart. But for a leyline walker, they're both a battery and a road. They're like a hyperloop transport system. So that's fun.
Nice. Okay. I like
Um,
that.
let's begin in North America.
Okay.
Let's start our guided tour in North America, where you and I live.
All right. All right.
North America, what's left of it, the only real nation to speak of is a nation called the Coalition. Okay. This is Emperor Prozek, the current ruler of that nation, of the Coalition, and his son. Now, looking at this, would you say this is a democratically elected leader, or would you say this is not that?
Yeah, this looks like a monarchy. It looks like he's literally holding a hammer, so I would assume he is ruling with the iron hammer. Yeah, this doesn't look peaceful and friendly and democratic in any way. No.
That is correct. So, North America has collapsed. The Coalition is a fascist government based on anti-DB, anti-alien. That it's a human supremacist nation. Okay,
Okay. All right.
DBs are to be at best monitored and kept in like sort of ghettos. At worst, killed.
Like
Okay.
District 9. Sure. Okay.
Yes, very much a District 9 sort of situation. That's right. And they see themselves as the last, they see themselves as the protagonists. They're the last great defenders of humanity. And they've built incredible technology and all of this stuff to push back against the alien menace. They're like if you took like have you read or watched Starship Troopers?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. They're that times 20.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Like way ramp up that authoritarian fascism like a lot.
Okay.
Okay. They are headquartered out of a place called Chi-Town. They basically have a slice out of the middle of the country. It's all that's left of theirs from like Illinois down through that area down into Texas. So picture that strip across the Midwest. That's basically their country, their nation. Okay. To like guide their capabilities or whatever to defend humanity, they have all these soldiers. As you can see, they love the skull motifs. You
Yeah.
always know you're the good guys when everything is a skull.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
I believe
Hey,
Skeletor was the real good guy. So this all checks
yeah,
out.
are we the baddies? It's like, okay, here you've got some old and new style power armor depending on when you happen to set your game. Most games are set like around PA 109. Don't worry about it. Just that's roughly the time period most games are set. Um, Different things happen in the world. The books do have an ongoing story. So as you go forward in the books, it moves forward in time, if
Okay.
that makes
So,
sense.
so that changes the technology levels, changes where the fighting's happen, changes the nations where they're at in certain things. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
Uh, Here's another one. This is their robot walkers. This is the UAR one.
That's
So this is, as you can see, they really love the skulls.
this the whole robot body is a giant skull. This is 80s cartoons like personified. That's where they got their whole aesthetic from, was 80s cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, this doesn't scream good guy to me, not even a little bit. Yeah.
I appreciate the crotch gun most of all, I think.
Yeah. I was wondering,
Um,
was that more of a radar? Is that it just
no,
two pea
that's just for
shooters?
infantry. Because keep in mind that thing is like 40 feet, 50 feet tall,
Okay, there was
right?
no actual frame of reference for me to know how big this thing was. Yeah, yeah, your crotch gun shoots down at the little people below you. Obviously, that's a
Correct. Crowd control.
yeah, exactly. All right, I got it. I mean, this is all
Mm-hmm.
checking the boxes for me. Oh my
There you
gosh.
go. There's another one of their robots that gives you a little better size comparison. That they have that's the little human guy in there for scale,
Okay, that
right?
helps. Yeah, so the skull at this point is evolved to be open, and the giant bazookas shoot out of the skull's mouth. Got it.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, here's where we should take a little moment. You might say, Vince, how do you pilot a giant robot in the game? Well, don't worry. There's lots of rules for that. So many rules for that. You can, of course, have pilot robot, but you can also have, like you can specialize in particular types of robots, which gives you extra bonuses. There's basic and elite and all these kinds of things. So like you can all heavily invest into that. And then you might think, well, how detailed are the rules for these robots? Oh, John, they're so detailed. Every element of that robot has its own chart. I can tell you how many hit points that gun sitting on his back has, how much his head has, how much his foot has, his leg, his hands, his arms, every weapon system are all detailed with like penalties or bonuses to hit that particular thing. If you called shot it, how much mega damage it has before it explodes, all of that sort of stuff.
Gosh. Oh my
Mhm.
god. What
It's all
kind
there.
of meth head came up with all these rules that you have 100 books that each book is an encyclopedia of just rules? Like, how do you
Mhm.
do that in
It is to love this game is to want to feel like an ancient wizard, like in D&D, like as they were originally portrayed, where they would like sit in their tower and like research over tomes trying to uncover ancient lore of a new spell or something, right? That's this. That's this game where you dig through books and tomes and find combinations and weird rules, loopholes, and interesting things that you can build and play and use, right? To just like create the exact character that you want.
so the
So
customization is ridiculous. If you
off the charts.
if if that appeals to you, but great. But what if you're that like, can you enjoy playing the game and not be an expert in how the game works?
Yes, as long as your GM is an expert in how the game works.
Yeah, this seems to me like probably the most difficult game I've ever seen to run.
It is you would think so. I'll be honest. Once you have a sort of internal mastery of what happens, which is admittedly a high bar. Like I'm not setting the skill floor low. Okay. You have to read a lot, understand a lot, get your head around a lot of very finicky rules. Okay.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, by the way, with most games you play, you say you like will literally take some rules and go, we're not using those.
Okay.
Okay. You have to cut stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Because I'm not going to remember the rules for because you took a particular set of skills, you have like a forward kick and a leap kick and a back kick and an overhead kick and a jump kick and a running jump kick. And those are all different. And I've only named 5 of the 32 different martial arts maneuvers you may have that all do slight variations on slightly different SDC damage slash potential chances to knock down, which is completely irrelevant when you're fighting a demon or a giant robot or a monster from another dimension. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not going to remember all of that. But actually once you kind of there is this strange it's almost hard to explain, but once you pass the skill floor, you understand that this whole game actually has this wonderfully humming mechanical core that it's really easy to do off the fly.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Which sounds strange, but because there's so much mechanics guiding everything, once you have that mastered, once you have that box and you can kind of turn your brain to look inside it and know an answer, it's really easy to run everything off the fly because it all will just trace back to that box really easily.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Um, so it's a strange game to run. It's one of the more unique GMing experiences. But I will say, I can write a Rifts adventure very quickly and easily, um, because one, it's crazy. I can just write whatever I want,
True.
right?
Yeah.
Like I don't have to limit myself. If I can imagine it, I can write it into an adventure. Period. Okay. And two, there's rules for it.
I'm not going out on the limb and having to make it all up as I go or try to come up with my own systems.
That's right.
Does this game take itself seriously? Because from an outsider's perspective, it seems so absurd that that could be a highlight if it doesn't take itself too seriously.
I mean, I can't speak for the creator. I would love to have him on sometime. Maybe we'll interview him. I really like you mentioned who did this. There's one. I would also say this game is the brainchild of basically one auteur. Okay.
What?
Now he's worked with a lot of other people over the years. He has contributing writers and a lot of people who have worked with him. A lot of whom are great. But like this is a basically this company Palladium who creates Rifts as well as other games we'll talk about later on that are all cross compatible. By the way, you can take characters from all those games and bring them into Rifts as well because they can all get in through the Rifts.
Yeah,
The
there's
Rifts
not
connect
an
to every dimension.
yeah, because it was the game felt a little bit up to this point a little bit restrictive. So I feel like that really aids for sure. Yeah, it really aids
Yes,
your possibilities. It
you
needed
got it.
that. Uh-huh.
Just in case what's there in Rifts wasn't enough, don't worry. You can also bring in from Palladium Fantasy, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ninjas and Super Spies, Heroes Unlimited. Go nuts. So yes, if you'd like to play like an Usagi Yojimbo rabbit who has like a magic sword katana, then yes, you can do that. They can have gotten into Rifts through a rift. It's fine.
Right, because that you're opening the whole multiverse situation at this point
Mm-hmm.
because it's a space, time, location, everything. Everything is open for grabs.
That's right.
So the rules, you said that the rules have a level of grounding within them. Does that mean like there's a certain infrastructure or a certain kind of skeletal system to the rules that is universal or mostly universal throughout the entire
Correct.
game?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's right. And like we from here, we should explain mega damage. And to do that, we need to show these guys right here, the guy in the front cover, which is the other notable nation in North America, Quebec.
Obviously, the French Canadians, they figured it out.
As you can see, Quebec is called Free Quebec. It is sort of an antagonist slash occasional partner slash whatever. They have a complicated relationship to the coalition, as you can see here.
Uh-huh.
There's a big war that they eventually have at a point in the story. Those are coalition robots, as you could easily identify
Uh-huh.
from the skulls and things like that. Those are called Glitter Boy killers, those particular robots. And the reason they're called that is because your protagonist, the guy, the thing that originally was Kevin's original inspiration for the game, the Glitter Boy. Okay. This character in the lower left that is a basically 15-ish foot tall suit of power armor.
Okay.
Okay. And the glitter boy, as you can see on his shoulder, you see that big gun that's on his shoulder. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That is called a boom gun.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Oh, I wonder what it
To
does.
fire it, he has little pistons in the back of his legs that shoot into the ground to stabilize him because it's so strong. And what it does is the damage is so high. And the Quebec basically survives on their glitter boys. They were the home of these glitter boys. They have glitter girls and glitter everything, all this stuff. And they're all basically like laser proof power armor suits that are incredibly agile and fast and dynamic that have these massive rail guns on their back. Right.
Okay.
Um, and they can wield other munitions as well. But at any rate, uh, Quebec is your other thing. The Glitter Boy is your original inspiration for this world. There's kind of the original Glitter Boy sketch. I know that's very bad. That's like the best version of it I could find. I'm sorry, everybody. But that's kind of the original sketch and the boom gun off his shoulder and all of that. The We should use this to talk about mega damage. So, as I said, if you're familiar with like second edition D&D, it's a similar-ish system to that. Okay? So you use a D20 to hit, right? If you're fighting in melee, you hit on a 4. If you're shooting at range, you hit on an 8. Those are just the numbers. And then there are a bunch of modifiers to that. Like so many. Like just like more than I could potentially name to you, okay? Because everything is a modifier to that number, right?
Oh, okay.
Plus or minus to
Okay.
strike, to do all of that. You have a set of stats. You have a larger set of stats than D&D. They run from 3 to 18, same as D&D base, but they can go a lot higher. They have no cap.
Oh,
And when you're rolling, when you're rolling your character out, if you roll a 16 or higher, it's explosive. You get to roll another d6. If you roll a 6, you get to roll again. Okay? So your actual stat cap is 30, although it's obviously pretty hard to get a 30. You'd have to roll an 18 and get a 6 and a 6. So you'd have to roll 5 6s in a row.
nice.
Although that can be easier depending on your rolling methods and if you're a certain type of alien. Obviously, lots of dimensional beings and aliens have way different stat spreads. You'll like some aliens will be like to generate their base stats, you roll like 66 plus 12. And so they just have like super stacked stats. Um, and all of those have their own tables with bonuses and things like that that you get. Certain stats make you resistant to magic or diseases or psionics or make you stronger. They make you hit harder when those bonuses apply is quite varied. So certain bonuses to strike only apply to melee weapons, some only to ranged, and so on and so forth. Now, skill wise, it uses a percentage system. So there's like a million bajillion skills, just like non-weapon proficiencies, and they all have a percentage from basically like 1% to 98%. You can't ever get better than 98%. And that covers everything from like radio basic, meaning like you know how to pick up a radio and go, Mayday, Mayday, I need some help over here, Roger.
Okay.
Okay. To nuclear physics. You understand how to build and maintain a nuclear reactor.
Oh, I only got a 22 in nuclear physics.
Yeah, you're just let me just roll at this. Let's see if we can how if we're gonna mess it up and everything in between, right? There are physical skills that can change your stats. Like if you like, you can take bodybuilding and boxing and stuff like that, which all melee characters do. There's like a core set of 12 physical stats you almost always take if you're a melee character, right?
Okay. Yep.
As well as I said, piloting power armors. If you're a dragon, then you get dragon specific combats. Yes, you can be dragons and all sorts of aliens. All sorts of different monsters have their own styles of combat, dragon combat and alien combat. If you're in China, there's all sorts of mystical combat where you fight with your mind and stuff like that. It's pretty endless.
How many does anyone ever is there a grand list of how many actual skills are in this game? Like what is the total number?
Yeah, people online have put them together. I didn't look at that beforehand, but there are lists of all the RCCs, as I said, like races and stuff like that, or OCCs. Some RCCs can take a class on top of them, some can't,
Okay.
without GM approval. Some can do it all the time. Some can do it with GM approval. Some you're not supposed to do it, but certain GMs will just let it happen anyways. So
Yeah, okay, cuz being a robot dragon is not enough. You're like, I am a robot dragon gas station attendant. And
correct.
that opens
Well,
up
yeah, you may want to be like like an Asgardian elf who's also a ninja. Let's say,
that does sound
okay,
pretty sweet. Yeah.
right.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So the basics of that was trying to rein in some level of power or balance of like, you know, race group A is obviously cannot compete with race group C. So that's how it can stack on with the class
Correct.
system.
That's the basic idea. And that leads us directly to mega damage. So you have hit points in D&D?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, you have hit points in Rifts. Hit points represent your physical body. If you take hit point damage, that means like organs are getting damaged.
Yeah, that's not good.
Bones are breaking.
Not good.
Not good. You do not want to take hit point damage. You do not have a lot of hit points. And in fact, you rarely ever do take it.
Oh.
On
That's good.
top of your hit points, absolutely, it's great, right? You have SDC. SDC is like that was them trying to solve the old hit point problem in D&D. You know how like D&D has always had this hit point problem where it's like, well, what do hit points really represent? Right? Like I'm getting hit with swords and axes and bit by a dragon, and I'm just kind of getting like scratched and cut and bruised. At what point do the serious injuries start?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what this is. SDC is like your physical wherewithal. It's you getting beat up. It's, every fight you see in a movie where people just punch the crap out of each other, but they're still fighting. That's them doing SDC damage to each other. You as a human punch for SDC damage.
Okay.
Yeah. If you run out of SDC, you go to hit points. That's when you start breaking bones, taking organ damage, stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's kind of like temp hit points or a buffer hit points of like enabled to have drama through a fight and action happen, but being like, yeah, you can't just keep doing that, right? Because
you're going to eventually run out of your ability to just keep getting punched in the face. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Eventually, they will break your skull or your jaw or something, right? And there's all sorts of penalties and rules associated with what happens when you take hit point damage. Of course, it is not abstract. Okay,
tables.
Nothing is ever abstract in this game. Now, then you have mega damage. 1 point of mega damage is equal to 100 points of SDC. Okay. Your average human probably, like just your average human walking around, probably has like 20 or 30 SDC. So if they get hit by 1 point of mega damage, they evaporate or explode or are dead in simplest form. Okay.
I guess if you have to have a system where these crazy, like world bending weapons exist, you can't just make number go bigger because number go bigger is going to be unsustainable at some point. So you just have to have new kind of number that doesn't have to be bigger because it's bigger. Okay.
That's right. So you might let me in audience, you might say to yourself, well, what the heck does mega damage even mean? Like, can you baseline that for me? I sure can. Let's take a modern M1A2 Abrams tank, something like that, right? A current generation United States tank, one of the most advanced sort of armor pieces in the world, right? When that shoots its main gun, it's central cannon, right? That can hit like many miles away, target grid squares outside of visual range, has all that kind of stuff, right? And resolve shots accurately. That does about a D6 mega damage. Okay.
Yeah, that's
a modern tank.
That would turn you to
it would turn person to paste.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
Missed.
The average sidearm that a homeless person carries in Rifts does a D4 or a D6 mega damage.
What?
So everyone is carrying around current generation tanks on their hip. That's just baseline. That boom gun in that picture hits for 3d6 times 10 mega damage.
And have regular hit points and SDC, Vince.
You don't. You do not. Those do not exist. If you're ever worrying about those numbers, the game has gone wrong. Now, I say that you can do one of the fun things about Rifts is that can matter at the same time. Like I say that the vast majority of Rift games, it will never matter. You always have armor on that has mega damage armor. You're always in like some kind of body armor, exoskeleton, power armor, robot, magic shielding, psionic shielding, something. Okay. Magic items, whatever. Bio implants. I could keep going. There's lots of things that can give you mega damage. Lots of aliens are just mega damage creatures by default. Lots of aliens, dimensional beings, and demons are just mega damage by default. They don't have any SDC or hit points. They're all mega damage, right?
Okay.
But in the cities, if you go into like Chi-Town, the central city of the coalition, they don't allow the people to carry weapons or wear armor or stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
So you can get your low power kind of area.
Yes, exactly. So like there's stuff like a vibro weapon you've smuggled in. Good God. Like if you're walking around normal in a city, if you're doing like a real noir city game, we've done these a few times where you like zoom way in and easy access to armor and weapons is there, but like you're in a fight and someone pulls out like a vibro knife that does like a D4 mega damage.
Hot knife through
You are in
butter.
trouble. Okay. Like things are about to go bad,
No.
right? Because if that vibro knife hits you, you're dead. You're dead now.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
at any rate, the again, it's the ability to zoom way in or way out, right? Okay. So that's Quebec. Now, and kind of the and mega damage. I knew you'd ask that question. Oh, there's another glitter boy picture. I'll zoom. Okay, well, let me
That
zoom
one's
in.
pretty
That's fine.
cool. Oh, look at the little vampires.
Why will you not? Yes, little vampires, I guess. Let's talk about Mexico. I thought the picture was bigger. I'm sorry, everybody. Oh, there it goes. Now it caught up. Hey, we got there. All
Okay.
right.
Mexico is
Just
vampires.
Mexico is vampires. That is correct. That's right. Oh, Mexico is all vampires. Vampires themselves are mega damage creatures. They are so tough. It's insane. You could blow a nuclear bomb could go off standing right next to a vampire. They would just, okay, neat. That's cool.
That tickled a little bit. Okay.
Right. But silver bullets will waste them. Water
Oh.
guns, like the coalition,
Super
since they're in
soakers?
Texas, super soakers can kill them. Running water, so that wood stakes through the heart's the only way to finish them. All right, wood stakes and that kind of thing. And you have to put them in sunlight. Like sunlight is the only way to other than running water to really get them permanently dead. Otherwise, they will eventually come back. Vampires, you might think, oh, is this like vampires? Like you get bit? It's like Dracula stuff? No, 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 no.
We got
There are
tables
different
for
levels
that.
of vampires.
We got tables. Vampire
The little
tables.
people you see down here are just like vampire spawns. That guy's like a master vampire, the dude standing back there
Yeah.
and like on the thing. Beyond him is what's called a vampire alien intelligence.
Oh, that's the
Okay.
temple thing?
Well, no, that's just like it's a thing off camera because you don't ever see. If you ever meet an alien intelligence, either you're playing a very high powered game or you're dead. Those are the next two options.
You're about to be dead.
Alien intelligences are things that have like tens of thousands of mega damage and have ungodly capabilities, magic, psionic, etc. And vampires they're alien creatures. They're an alien infection. This alien intelligence that is a vampire, it infects things the master vampires are then under its sway and it sends them out to go make more vampire spawn.
Okay. So I just to clarify something, because I did not catch this till just that last thing you said. Mega damage is a number that doesn't also refer to like actual damage, but it also refers to like a hit point pool.
Correct. It's both. Yes, exactly.
Oh,
So like
that's not confusing.
the gun does 3d6 times 10 mega damage. That's just the way the damage is. But that vampire has the vampires actually are they're not mega damage creatures. Somebody's gonna bust me in the comments. They're just immune to all mega damage attacks. But
Oh,
you could run into an alien that is mega damage. Vampires just don't take damage from
why
weapons
don't they?
unless it's silver or something like
Why
that.
don't they use a different term instead of mega damage, like mega health or something, so you're not confused by the resource of your life being the same term as the damage that's being done?
I have no answers for that. But
Okay, okay, okay.
but you get used to it is my answer. It's for the same reason that level gets reused in D&D like 8,000 times, right? Like I'm level 7, this is a level 3 spell. I'm on the
Yes.
4th level of the dungeon.
Yes.
Whatever.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I get it. It doesn't have to make sense. It just is. Got it.
Yep. So, in addition, let's head out to the New West. We'll go north from Mexico out into the New West. The New West is every trope you could ever imagine all shoved in together. You want a classic gunslinger? You got him. You
Okay.
want a psionic gunslinger? You got him. How about a cybernetic gunslinger? Sure, why not? Card sharps, saloon bums, preachers, justice sheriffs, all the Native American stuff. The Native Americans own a huge portion of the West as well. They have magic and they have their own Native American magic. Okay. Like there's whole books dedicated to them and to their unique forms of magic. Their weapons can cut through mega damage armor like butter, even if they're very simple traditional weapons, that kind of stuff.
Wow.
The New West is like an amazing place to play. I've
Yeah.
set so many games in the New West. It is, you're north of vampire territory, you're south of Native American territory. There's bugs and DBs and aliens. And as I said, just everything you'd ever want. It's every Western movie ramped to 100, thrown into a sci fi fantasy milieu.
Okay. This is my favorite thing so far. Yeah, for
It
sure.
rips. It rips. There you go. There's your cyborg 4-armed gunslinger. Sure, why not?
Hell yeah,
Okay.
that's twice as many guns. That's 4 guns
Yeah,
instead of 2
absolutely.
guns. Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. These are cactus people. They also live out in the New West, as you can see. They're the settlers. Aren't they adorable? Look at the little cactus people babies.
Babies. All right. I love
Mhm.
this. What the hell
The
is kind of
world,
fitting?
I know it's great, right? This is really wonderful. They're ugly and adorable all at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, the one of the fun parts about this world is, if you're in sort of coalition territory, aliens and DBs and stuff like that are really, like I said, like not they're a no go. They're sort of killed on sight.
Uh-huh.
But once you and exit out of their territory, I've played very few games in coalition space because it's kind of boring and restricted for the world. We've done a few of them. But once you're out of that, the world is just full of weirdos like this. Like every book, John, is just full of weirdos, monsters, aliens, creatures, crazy stuff. Okay. Just on and on and on and on.
And they all
Right.
have all their own very hyper specific rules.
Yes. Correct. Everyone. Here's another one. This is a fun alien. He's pretty cool. You can see him. He's obviously
Kind
he's
of
a
a wizard.
dimensional being.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool dude, right?
Yeah.
And most of the times most of your aliens and your creatures like this will end up becoming mercenaries, gunslingers, things of that nature. So there's that kind
All
of stuff.
right. Yeah. Okay. So it seems to me this is we're at about the 1 hour point of this discussion.
Hmm.
I'm wrapping my brain around this thing. It's like trying to wrap your mind around like slime or gack. Like you try to grasp it and it just like oozes around. You can't get a firm hold on it. But I'm starting to see a little bit like part of the draw to this game, and you tell me if I'm incorrect in this assumption. Part of my draw is that you have infinite possibilities, almost only limited by your own imagination, and you get the reward of whatever craziness you get inspired by or you think of yourself, that there's a well deep with details and specifics that allow you to craft exactly what you wanted to craft because we already thought of that. Is that
That's
part
right.
of the draw?
100%. Yep.
Okay.
That's right.
I love that. I love that it's like, no. We've got an idea for that. We've got it all figured out already. And it's not
Yeah, like
just
if you just say you really wanted to play a cyborg,
uh-huh.
okay, like some kind of cyborg character. Well, are you going to be like partial conversion, light, full, full conversion, heavy, full conversion? And then what's your cybernetics? There's detailed rules for every cybernetic you could imagine sticking into yourself. There are like 4 source books for cybernetics alone. Okay. And that's just standard cybernetics. I'm not talking about like mom implants, which is mind over matter, psionic cybernetics. That expands a whole new territory. Okay.
This is like
So,
the
yes,
this is like the hold my beer of RPGs. Because like, oh cool, oh, how cute. You played a game called Shadowrun? We've got Shadowrun in our game. But we
correct. Yes.
also have the fucking Land of the Lost Dinosaur game, and we also have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the interplanetary being brain people, and we also have like
Yeah. Yeah.
they all exist in our game. We have them
They
all.
all exist. It's true. All of it. Okay.
Okay.
I brought up a cover here, John. You can see on screen. Where in the world do you think we are? Where is this? There's sort of a clue on the cover. Let's see if you can suss out where in the world where we are.
I'm guessing we're in Germany because that sign says Berlin 10 kilometers, right?
You are correct.
Yes.
The actual sort of best, like, the most moral, I don't know, whatever, protagonist country, nation still standing in the world is the New German Republic, which is partnered with Triax, which is their main company. They make these big robots. And Triax is like the sort of one of the makes some of the most advanced robotics on Earth. And so Germany's a really fun place to play. They are holding firm in an ever going war. Again, there's another robot. Oh, he got all small. That's okay. There you
Okay.
go.
So
There's a Triax robot.
Volkswagen now makes robots, is what we've learned. Okay.
Effectively,
Yes. Okay.
they are in an ever going war against these guys,
What the
the
hell is that?
Gargoyle Nations.
Oh, the Gargoyle Nation. Why didn't I think of that? I should have known. I should
Yes,
There's
so
a
most of
gargoyle
Eastern
nation.
Europe is a gargoyle infested, and gargoyles are huge, as you can see. Those are regular
Yeah,
people.
that's a big gargoyles. These are no Disney.
Gargoyles are big, mega damage dimensional beings that you have to get in a robot to fight. So
Okay.
they own most of like Eastern Europe, basically.
Okay. All right.
Hmm.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah. There are also dragons and stuff like that out there. Dragons are their own individual powerful beings. They're obviously mega damage and have lots of capabilities and stuff like that. There's different empires around Europe.
Uh-huh.
England is all Arthurian myth.
Cool.
Uh, so as you can see here, you've got like a giant, you've got the knights, you got a weird lizard shaman guy. Sure, why not? Um, so when I say it's Arthurian myth, keep in mind there is a guy named Arthur. Like, I don't mean it's Arthurian myth and homage. I mean, there's a dude named Arthur and a dude named Lancelot and the Knights of the Round Table, only they're like cybernetic and all of that kind of stuff. Also, did I mention that Merlin and the Lady of the Lake and Guinevere are all actually the same person, an alien intelligence that's seeking to overtake and twist Arthur and turn him against his destiny?
Same person. Okay. You're right. Yeah, ultra alien intelligence that are corrupting the proper Brits. Holy shit.
Yep.
Man, I feel like I could learn
Uh
so much about the actual history if I would just read more Riffs books. Okay.
percent. There's also the home of one of the world trees. There are giant like world trees that exist, and it can give you magical. It's an intelligent tree that can defend itself and can give you gifts and stuff like that. There's all sorts of unique magic in England, fairy magic and circle magic and stuff like that. It's a very like magical place, obviously. Everything is just a trope of itself, in case that isn't clear, from the Japan ninjas and samurai and cyborgs, and the England is magical Arthurian land. Most countries are just tropes of themselves magnified into an insane sci-fi fantasy world, right? Like, take a surface level trope understanding of the country or the nation or whatever. That's it. Like that dinosaur swamp, it's in the United States. Where in the United States do you think dinosaur swamp exists?
Obviously in Louisiana and Florida, right?
Bingo.
Like, I mean this in maybe the kind-hearted way, but maybe I don't know if you tell me if there's more legitimacy to this. Is this whole system just kind of racist? It's just like I mean
It's I mean, racist, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't go that far, no. But I
stereo
would say it is
harsh
stereotypical.
stereotypes. Yeah.
Yes, it does utilize stereotypes. Yes, 100%. That is
Okay.
true.
Okay.
Um, in the opening to Riffs Canada, there is literally a line that says Canada is a vast country of wonder and alien majesty that this book that can certainly not contain. Like, to be clear, there's multiple Canada books, but like this is a 194 page book. You couldn't fit Canada in there, right? But it's everything you think. There's Yetis and Inuit people and all of that stuff. So it's what you think it is.
I assume that because there is a world tree somewhere in England and there's more than one, you
There's
just
one in Australia as well. Yeah.
implied that there's more. I assume, based on what I've learned from this game thus far, that there is a Canadian maple tree that is a world tree that brings forth the great maple syrup, which is harvested by an alien intelligence that it uses it to power all of the great Canadian needs, right? I'm assuming
I
that's a
mean,
thing.
first of all, probably. Like, even if they didn't cover in a book, that's a completely fair assumption.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I this is so far over the top in every
Yes.
possible manner that it's like I just
Hold on, John. We haven't gone over the top enough. I'm glad you just set that up because
okay.
I've just taken you around Earth, like Europe, Japan,
Sure.
stuff like that.
Okay.
But we can go bigger. Oh, here's some more knights. As you can see, they have like updated sci-fi armor and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Here's two of them.
But still classical enough.
But we can go bigger. John, the gods are real.
Oh
All of
gosh.
them.
All of them.
All of them. Every pantheon is real.
All right.
They exist. They're all mega damage aliens. As you can see here, this god has some that's like Cyber Thor. He's
Cyber
got some
Thor.
sweet cybernetics. Like, that picture is truly amazing.
That is pretty badass art. I gotta give it to him.
Yes.
Okay. All
The
right.
gods are real, and not only are they real, but they also have knockoffs. Like,
Of like the
there's
fake
real
core
Hermes.
of gods.
Correct. Yeah. Almost all the gods have like cybernetic or very powerful magical knockoffs or alien dimensional beings who are impersonating them or stuff like that. Pantheons of the Megaverse is where some of your most top end power. This is a book that a lot of GMs love to hate. I personally love it. If you want to play a demigod or a godling, if you want to nail yourself to Yggdrasil, the world tree in the lands. You know, the thing of legend that Fenrir eats and Toski guards and all of that or whatever, the little squirrel. Okay. You can nail yourself to the world tree as part of your character creation. And if you fail the percentage, the character dies and you never make it out. Isn't that amazing?
The game's over before it starts.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if you make your check? Holy shit. I don't even know where to
Asgardian
go from here.
elves and dwarves and everything else. Like every pantheon is in there. I'm favoring like the sort of Viking and Grecian pantheons, but they're all in there.
So,
Like, yeah,
so
Egyptian and all that.
like Buddha and Vishnu
Yeah.
and
Yep. Here's like your Egyptian pantheon. Yep.
gosh, okay, yeah. Oh, Ra, okay. Um, is can is Jesus Christ in this game?
No.
Okay.
But I'm glad you asked. I don't think I have the picture next. Scott, it would have been amazing had I teed that up. But the four horsemen of the apocalypse are.
Okay. All right.
They are real
Oh,
and they are wandering around in Africa right now trying to find each other. And when they do, they will end the world. So, like war, famine, death,
oh
and pestilence are all just broken apart, wandering around Africa trying to find each other.
man.
In this game, John, you can play everything. It's every genre, conceit, and concept in a single game, right? All rendered in incredible detail. And what's neat is this, John, is the vagabond.
The
He's one of the
vagabond.
lowest power characters in the game. This is
Okay.
a fully playable thing. You can be a human vagabond. You're a homeless person.
All right. In
Your
this
special abilities are you've got a gun.
okay, well,
You probably kind of know how to drive a car.
okay.
And if you like grab a random piece of tech, you can be like, you can kind of size up what it's worth. You're pretty good at identifying what things are worth, like how much you could pawn it for.
So you can sell it for crack. Got it. Yes.
Okay.
All right. You
That's a character you can play.
all right.
All
This
right.
that's a pretty low bar, right?
These are Cosmo Knights.
Holy shit. That's a
Yeah,
badass.
pretty awesome looking, right? Cosmo Knights, you know Captain Marvel?
Yes.
Okay. You familiar with Captain Marvel?
Uh-huh.
Okay. You know that scene in Endgame or whatever where she just like goes and plows through the spaceships?
Uh-huh.
Or like it happened in her movie too, where she just like she goes like into her, she like summons up the power cosmic and just plows through ships,
Huh?
right? That's a Cosmo Knight. Only they're about 10 times more powerful than she is. All right. They're meant to fight to be single champions that go fight fleets of spaceships. Like they stand alone in space. They're like the Green Lantern Corps if the Green Lanterns weren't a bunch of just like wussies.
They fight a war themselves, basically.
Yes. They are single-handed armies. They're invulnerable to most anything that isn't itself a crazy similar alien intelligence or godly being, And then by the way, this is also a playable thing.
Can those two play on the same team in the same party?
If you're a very creative GM.
All right, on one side we got Hobo Man. On the other side we've got Intergalactic Ender of Worlds.
Mhm.
What if they're like
And like that's what's amazing about the game because the real answer is you wouldn't normally do that, right? Like normally if you're going to use Vagabond, there's I've played games with like very low power like that. Like I mentioned, like you're in a city, you play like street rats, saloon bums, vagabonds, like real preachers, real low end power stuff where you're just like using your skills, getting around, surviving by your wits, running heists and crimes or stuff like that. That's a game. You can do that. Okay. And it can be great. Like all the rules are there. You have a lot of stuff you can do. Somebody gets out a vibro knife and you're like, crap, run.
what
Right.
no? Okay.
I've also played games where everybody is playing Cosmo Knight level like dudes, and you're running around like fighting entire armies. Like I literally had a scene where my 5 characters fought an enemy army. Like there were tank divisions and thousands of troops, and I was like, go. This is the battle.
This game seems like you can't run a game and just let without like you have to define, right? You have to define the parameters. Like
Yes, correct.
if you do not define the parameters, the game is over before it starts, right?
It's impossible to play if you don't define the parameters. Yes.
And I think when I'm really trying to I'm starting to get the lure of this game is that the possibilities are endless, but you never play with all the possibilities. That's
Correct. That's exactly
ridiculous.
right. That's exactly right.
But they're all
And
there.
but they're all there. Yep. And I have played games. So, like, I ran a marathon game set in Rifts, Japan. Japan is actually a really fascinating setting because it has one of the cities, about 300 square kilometers, that city and its surrounding area, rifted out, right? But like disappeared by sheer happenstance, of course, due to a science experiment. It jumped forward in time like 350 years. So it disappeared right before the rift explosion happened. Okay. So it is actually, and it came back and it was like, and everybody was like, whoa, what happened to the world? Right. So, but it's like a super high tech cyber ninja, cyber samurai, ultra crazy level of stuff, right? Because it's their technology then rapidly advanced. At the same time, the rest of Japan is like more mystical, traditional. Like a traditional samurai is a very scary thing to roll up against. They can deflect lasers and stuff like that with their daisho, with their sword. Okay. And yes, there are rules for that. And and like those two things exist alongside each other. So we did a Japan game, and I said we're going to use the base book and the Japan book. You have to draw your characters from one of those two places, and it was a great game. Everybody felt super balanced, very fun. I've also done games where I've said, like, as I mentioned earlier, like, okay, everybody should, you can pick whatever you want, but you need to end up with no more than like this much mega damage, whatever it is you pick, and or this number of attacks. Like everything in the system kind of will contribute around those core mechanics, if that
Okay.
makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so I'll say like you should have this many stats that are good. You should have at least this many stats that are good, this much mega damage, this many attacks. And when you do that, the game, like, they can get at that a lot of ways. They could play aliens, they could play a human that's super souped up in power armor, they could play a dimensional being, they could play a cyborg, they could play a magic person. Like there's 10 different roads that'll get you to that place. So you go across all the books, but I just set a ceiling.
Okay. Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're putting the bumpers on the bowling lane, but there's still that
Correct.
entire lane for them to navigate as long as they stay within the
That's right.
confines. So
Yep.
so you're not restricting the fun in that regard. You're just helping guide them in a way that will help narrate the story that you're trying to tell without it getting all out of whack.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so because it just has everything in it, like I'll take you through a couple other things. The one thing I didn't talk about yet that I need to talk about that John, I need to
Okay.
talk about. People who know riffs who've gotten to this point in the show, they're going to be like, Vince, how have you not talked about juicers?
Juicers.
Juicers. Riffs is about a people struggling against a dying world and what you're willing to trade for a world you'll never see. Okay? That's
Okay.
ultimately the underlying theme of the game.
Sure. Okay.
And there's lots of different characters who trade their own life, their sanity, their health, their whatever for power. Okay. There are lots of the different classes are takes on that. Warlock, the sort of general conception of Warlock in D&D is like you make a deal with some dark entity,
Yeah.
right?
For your
And
power.
that gives you power. But it's
Uh-huh.
usually pretty milk toast, honestly. They don't come a calling. They don't ask much of you. That is not the case in Rifts. There are lots of classes that make deals with dark entities. Oh, and you will pay. You will pay through the nose for it.
Uh,
Maybe you stick cybernetic mom implants, psychic implants into your head that make you way faster than a normal human could be, but slowly drive you insane. You literally get insanities. You roll on insanity tables. It has rules. There are rules for that.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
But the coolest,
you got to pay the piper. The piper is
yes,
calling. Okay.
the absolute coolest are juicers. Juicers trade their entire life for power. Juicer is an augmentation. They put you through it. You become superhuman. This is actually a mega juicer on screen here. Or no, sorry. Yeah, this is a mega juicer on screen here, which means you actually are so juiced you become a mega damage creature. They use chemicals. It's a system that you implanted yourself. You have to wear this thing. And at the second any kind of threat happens, your system gets flooded with these chemicals and everything moves in slow motion. You are 100 times faster, stronger, tougher than a normal person. Like you could rip somebody's head off before they even knew you moved, right? Like
My.
to people not in armor, you are instant death. Okay. You are an anime character given form. You can jump, 30, 40, 60, 90 feet, depending on what kind of juicer you are in a step.
Wow.
You're 100 times faster than a person can run. and all that kind of stuff. There's tons of different kinds of juicers. It's one of the most popular things in the game. There's a whole book called Juicer Uprising with different kinds of juicers. Mega juicers are so juiced they turn themselves into mega damage. But once you do this, you live 2d4 years from that point forward.
Oh,
And that's it.
The candle
That's your life.
can only burn bright for so long.
The candle that burns 100 times as bright certainly burns faster.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
This is a bio juicer, a Splugorth juicer. Don't worry. I'll talk about those in just a second. That's going to be really exciting. We got a little bit more to get through. I know this is going to be a slightly longer episode. This is juiced up through parasites and symbiotes that get implanted into you and attach themselves to your organs and then grow back out of you.
Yum.
That armor isn't something she's wearing.
Oh, that's a tapeworm.
Yep. But like a tapeworm that can make you psychic or fly or hit like a tank.
That's a sweet tapeworm.
You can also be a dragon juicer. This is where you actually use the blood of dragons to turn yourself into a super being. And you don't burn out super fast. You can live forever, truly immortal, as long as you keep killing dragons and drinking their blood, potentially.
I mean, that's just a small asterisk on the bottom fine print of the contract.
Keep in mind, dragons are ancient, incredibly powerful creatures that are, thousands of mega damage.
Oh, no. Whoops.
So, at any rate, the whole point of the game, the reason I deep dive on juicers is because it's a great example of like a trope that the game pulls out. There's lots of variances on this, but lots of the game is asking like, what are you willing to sacrifice for power? Right.
Yeah, because
it's kind of like an underlying theme.
It feels like a pretty bleak world in existence, right? Everything that we've discussed, it feels pretty much like there's no like pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. There's no hope for anything or anyone, right? You're just trying to survive.
It is very much it depends on where you are in the world. Some places are better than others, as I said. Like there are places where you can tell pretty happy stories.
Okay.
There are places where you can't, that are utter nightmares, top to bottom. And what's interesting is, we played a game in Rifts where I was playing an octopus, like a psychic octopus who was an expert mechanic.
Of course he is. Yeah.
Yeah. And my dream was to get a Death's Head transport, which is like a giant flying space train that the Coalition uses to get around. It's like, think of it, it's like they're super armored personnel carriers. Okay. And I just wanted to get my own Death's Head transport. And that was my character's dream. And the adventure was insane and had to deal with like kidnapping people and experimenting on them and turning them into superhumans and alien intelligences and demonic beings and all of this. And, we lost party members. But at the end of the game, I stole the Death's Head transport because the Coalition was involved in this. And we all rode off into the sunset on the Death's Head transport. And we were listening to like diegetically in game. We were listening to It Feels Like the First Time. It feels like the first time because this is happening on Earth. This is allegedly our Earth. You can score your games with current music that just happen to survive the apocalypse. Like lots of people collect pre-Rifts artifacts, and music is the most popular thing.
Yes.
So I score all the games with soundtracks. Like this game is going to have a 70s soundtrack. It's like Quentin Tarantino's Riffs.
Right. Oh yeah, because this is what existed as artifacts from the time before.
Yes. And that was a happy game. There's trials and travails, but in the end, it had a very like Guardians of the Galaxy type of feel.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it exists, but it's like you're finding your own pockets of existing in happiness and not thinking too big at the macro level.
That's right. So did I mention Atlantis is back, John?
No, but why the hell not?
So Atlantis is back. This is one of the I don't think he's actually a power lord. I forget his exact name. He's one of the lords. And then his blind warrior women. They raid the coast of the United States and other places and steal people as fodder and experiments and slaves and stuff and kidnap them back. Blind warrior women and these guys. And Atlantis is run by a Splugorth. Splugorth are giant, ultra-powerful alien intelligences that run a ultra-capitalist mercantile cross-galaxy empire. And there's one who owns Atlantis, and he's pretty chill as things go.
It's Jeff Bezos.
Effectively, yes. And they're big. They run a giant commercial empire. There are other alien forces that are more friendly to humans, Nirani and stuff like that, that will also try to sell humans weapons because the Nirani capitalist empire hates the Splugorth capitalist empire, so they'll sell
Mm.
humans weapons on the cheap if they're going to go fight the Splugorth.
Gotcha.
Atlantis is full of like dragons and gargoyles and every other crazy thing you can imagine. And there are Atlantean people and they have tattoo magic and all of that. Yeah, it's incredible. It's
What?
a very fun place to play, actually, but weird. Biomagic, parasites, all sorts of fun things.
Wrapping your brain around this game is probably one of the most difficult hurdles, I'm guessing. Are you just like
Every single book is like a deep dive into its own set of unique, weird rules. It's like, and here's a whole new thing.
no, wait, there's more.
Yeah. This book, we're going to talk about bubble magic. I'm sorry, what? That's a thing. John, you might think, are whales sentient and do they have their own magic? Well, you bet they do.
Of
And you
course.
can find all about it in Rifts Underseas.
Oh my gosh. I love this. I love this like if you nothing seems to take itself too seriously because how could it? It's so
Right.
ridiculous.
Yes. That's just it. It's so ridiculous. Like this giant, insane eyeball monster who has like, 50,000 MDC and runs like a pleasure island for monsters could be negotiated with. If you've got a good enough deal, he'll listen. He's interested.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's always looking for good, shipping locales, right? He
Right.
needs warehouses.
Right.
Right. I mean this this is ridiculous.
As I mentioned, you can bring in other games like Heroes Unlimited is the Palladium superhero game, which has like ultra detailed rules for making different kinds of superheroes. All of that you can bring in. That's no problem. So you can play. Rifts itself has various and sundry superhero metahuman type stuff rules just based in it. But you can also go full bore and just port in Heroes Unlimited. In fact, some of the rules in Rifts will tell you go read Heroes Unlimited and make a character in there and then bring it back here.
That's how they get those cross sales. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
They got me.
In fact, in Rifts, in one of the Dimension books, is a planet of superheroes who are rebelling called Scrapers. And so they're all just, it's like a superhero planet where their superheroes are leading a rebellion against an oppressive alien force. So,
Okay. All right.
and you see how it's a crossover. It works for both Rifts and Heroes Unlimited.
Perfect.
All these games are cross compatible. Yep. Scrapers is actually a really cool world. It's pretty neat. And that's just it. Like I talked about Earth, but keep in mind, again, there's like tons of Dimension books and places like that. Like, you don't have to play on Earth. There are alien galaxies and peoples and worlds and like ad infinitum.
They got rules for that.
You can bring in everything from Palladium Fantasy if you want the more traditional fantasy experience. All of that stuff converts over. There's a conversion book that takes all of this and brings it over. How do your spells work in mega damage, stuff like that. Magic is wild in this game because it's not level based. It's just based on do you have the PPE to do it? In
What?
other words, like the mana. It has like a mana value.
So it's all mana based system.
So there are 15 levels of spells, but if you're like a level 1 leyline walker, you could crack out a 15th level spell if you know it. And like if you know the spell and you've got the PPE, you can summon a dimensional implosion. Just, like that's fine. You just got to have the PPE to juice it.
Right. Yeah. You need the energies. I'm right. I'm there.
I wanted to. I brought this is text. This is out of Rifts Canada.
Rifts Canada.
All right. Can you read this, John?
It says Wish Poosh the Demon Beaver. This is an NPC?
It's like a monster you can run into. Demonic beaver monster that has plagued the Nez Perce, which is Nez Perce. I don't know how to say it. It's a tribe, obviously, of the Northern Plains. I apologize. I don't know how to say that Native American tribe's name. According to legend, the Wish Poosh was preventing the Nez Perce from fishing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the Nez Perce. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So it's just a monster. Like it pulls all the monsters from lore and legend. Like these people go and they do research into like all myths and legends and things like that. All those things have rules.
We've made them real. Wow.
Then you got the mechanoids and all of that and the source books. There are 2 sentient AIs on Earth, Archie 3 and Archie 7. One guards Earth. That's why things don't come in from space because of Archie 7. He stops like nothing can get in. He's like an ultra powerful AI super intelligence that has satellites and things like that with mounted super weapons that basically blow up anything that comes within our solar system. And then there's Archie 3, the more weak one on Earth, who has who has taken control of a section of the mechanoids who are themselves an interdimensional. Think like the Borg.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Okay.
like an interdimensional, intergalactic, mechanized conquering race. But Archie 3 took a bunch of them and brought them under his control. But he needs a human to pilot him around. That's the dude piloting Archie 3 right now. Like he needs a human to work, if that makes sense. He's like somewhere in Maryland, I think. So that's nice for him. So you can fight bad robots and stuff like that. That's fun. The Coalition, some of the books are like about a particular story. So, for example, this is the Coalition War Campaign. This is when the Coalition went to war against like the Federation of Magic and Free Quebec. There's a magic country and a psychic country in the United States as well. The psychic country is hidden. You have to be psychic to get to see it and get into it. The magic country is just a very, very, very powerful magic country that has a whole bunch of different types of wizards and crazy, crazy things. They use golems and stuff like that. And they went to war against him. And this is the story of that war and all the new tech that comes from it. There are the Splin Dimensional Market, which is like, I love this picture so much. This dude in a diaper, like when, and this mercenary lady buying some information from the weird diaper man. Shaky Jake, rare creatures and munitions, no refunds. Like you asked, does this game take it seriously? I submit to you this picture
He's also
as
got
answer
like
to your
he's
question.
got like a oxygen mask on because he's been smoking for too many years. And she's got like a lizard dog and a walking stick. I mean, yeah, I believe it. If he says it comes
So
from
like
Rifts at this point, I say, yeah, sounds right.
yeah, I mean the corners of this thing are crazy. This is the psychic place. The psychic country, the psychic nation is called Psyscape, which rules. By the way, this is like the cover on this book is again amazing. And playing a warrior who can manifest a shield and sword from pure psychic energy is obviously awesome, and
That's
it also
badass.
rips.
That's
Yeah,
badass.
yes. There are also cyber knights who can do that much, like who are experts at that. It's one of the core classes in the book. Like you're really good at manifesting your sword and shield. You're like a knight, but you're partially cybernetic, but also psionic.
Oh, that's a sweet multi-class kind of a thing.
Kind of shakes it all together.
Yeah.
There's Death. I'm pretty sure that's Death
Oh,
on the cover of the Africa book. One of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. That's him. So there you go.
I mean, you have
He's,
that.
as I said, rolling around.
It's just Toto's Africa is playing as they were walking around looking for each other.
Mm-hmm. And that's basically it. That's like my quick tour. I know we went a little long today, long show, but I really wanted to take you and kind of give you the feel of the world. It's exactly what you said. It's infinite possibilities. It trusts you as the game master completely to say, I'm going to give you a near infinite palette of wild things to work from. The rules collapse under their own weight a lot. Like you will run into questions that just, even despite all of this, things just because everything's just written rules over 35 years of the same edition. So things just don't often sometimes have answers. And you just got to make a call. It's complicated. It's crazy. It is. If you like modern, simple games, this is not for you.
This
It's
is
not.
this is the other side of the spectrum.
Yes. But if you love the idea of like really having that feeling of verisimilitude where like when you choose to play a thing, you will feel like the thing. When you're a cybernetic ninja out of Rifts, Japan, you're going to feel like a cybernetic ninja. Like that you will have abilities and capabilities that are detailed and specific to you and to what you imagine that thing to be able to do. Right? And so on and so forth.
I mean, it makes sense that this is not this kind of a system when put to this level of scale is not sustainable, and that's okay. Like it can't possibly hold its own weight, but because you have so many options, you don't have to worry about everything. You have to worry about the version of the game and whatever you want to cherry pick from everywhere, literally.
Correct.
There's rules for that, and pull it in, you have access to it. That in and of itself is such a cool, if not wild, and hard to even imagine selling point.
Yeah, we've done games where everybody's in the coalition and you're like going and trying to stop alien and demon incursions and attacks. We've done games where everybody's magical. We've done games in the New West where it's just a group of mercenaries trying to survive. We've done Atlantean games where we work directly for the Splugorth and the Power Lords and try to figure out the morality of that because we're not nice people. and dimensional games where we're, in a completely alien world fighting in these different galactic wars, with a bunch of Star Wars weird aliens all around you, just gangs of weirdos everywhere. It it trusts you to figure out what's the story you want to tell here. And there's some circle you can draw within that panoply of choices that are going to let you tell that story.
Okay. I mean, that feels like a good a spot as any to end the episode on Riffs. Is Riffs simply the greatest tabletop RPG ever made? I can't think of anything that even comes close to it in scope.
It is a singular achievement. By the way, a couple quick final notes that are interesting to people as we end. One, there was a period in time in the late 90s when this was potentially the most successful game in the world, where it outsold D&D. When in that period where D&D crashed and got bought by Wizards and they weren't really making books and no one was playing second edition and third hadn't launched,
This was it.
this was number 1 on the charts, okay?
Okay.
Now, it had a real downside when D20 when third edition of the D20 revolution happened. It was like Nirvana coming out and ending Roxette's career.
Right.
Number 1. So that's the first thing. The other thing I'll say is that you don't have to get what's nice about it is you can kind of pick your poison with it. Like you don't have to go buy all 100 books. You can just kind of play off the core edition, and it's a perfectly fun game if you're willing to fight through some of the rules oddities. If you love ultra detailed simulation of stuff, then you're going to have a great time.
Awesome. Well, if nothing else, you've now learned a little bit of history and a little bit of details. And I guarantee you, if you wanted to pull some kind of a ultra specific, weird system of rules for a very specific thing into an entirely different game, well, you could probably convert some wildness. Rifts has it covered, and you could grab it.
Yep. They did make a Savage Worlds version of this that is not any good. It uses the Savage system, like the D6 system. It's no good. Don't do
Well,
it.
all right. Well, we know there's no buyer's remorse from us here because we're telling you don't buy that. But everything else, that's wild. I hate to say this almost. When I come visit you in a couple weeks, I kind of want to like flip through some of these books on your shelves and just read
I
into
have them
this.
all on the shelf.
I want
Yep.
to see what really this looks like on a crunchy table level. So I'm here for it. Thank you, Gazeboids, for joining us on the deep dive of what I feel is like the tiniest kiddie pool side of what this ocean of riffs is. But we've got your bite size indigestion that you now get to leave with of riffs. We're going to be back with another new episode next week. And we promise it will be at least 90% less riffs, not guaranteeing no riffs, but now you know riffs. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.